Straw Hut Media.
Y'all, welcome. Wow, my voice cracked. Let's try that again.
It's an emotional episode.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm excited.
Are you?
I'm very excited.
Well, probably because your best friend stopped by the pod today.
Ooh, I'm talking about Drew Dorsey. Let me just tell you, we have heard a lot of secrets.
There's one that left you so gagged. I don't think I've ever seen you have that reaction in your life.
Ever. This is the biggest reaction and most genuine reaction I've ever had to a secret. So look forward to that. And we'll tell you the theme and everything when the show starts. But y'all, just get ready. Get your popcorn, get your drink, get your edible, whatever you need. Sit back, relax, and this is Confess Your Mess.
Buckle up.
Confess your mess. Y'all, welcome back to Confess Your Mess. We're very excited to be here. I'm always looking down at our guest instead of at the camera up here when we do our intro. So welcome back. We're excited. I'm Emile, Ennis Jr.
I'm the fiance, AJ Gibson.
No, you're not the fiance. You're your own man. You're AJ Gibson. Say it again with some bass in your voice.
I'm AJ motherfucking Gibson.
Okay, ain't nobody tell you to do all that. You always take it to the extra.
Somewhere in the middle. That's who I am.
I appreciate the confidence because we are wearing our normalized confidence shirts, sweatshirts, which are designed by our guest today, who happens to be my best friend.
And she got merch.
Yeah, and she's also in our my wedding party.
She's in your wedding party.
She's one of my groomswomen.
You might know her from Clever Style. You might know her from her YouTube channel, Double D.
And she's an up and coming model.
No, she's here. She's here.
No, she's here, but I'm manifesting some New York Fashion Week and things like that. So we're talking about my best friend, Drew Alexis. Do you care to say your middle name? Dorsey.
Wait. Drew, welcome to the program. First and foremost, your middle name is Alexis?
Yeah. It is. Have I never told you that before?
I've known you for so many years. Your initials are Dad?
Yeah, Dad. So fun
Daddy.
fact. So when she's having, because by the way, today's episode is the theme is wild card. So normally I have a theme for the episode, but for Drew, we were like, we're gonna do a wild card episode. So it's all types of secrets. But
she's also sort of the wild card of the group. Like,
she's
like fun. You never know what you're gonna get. Amazing. We love her.
But
we're happy to have her.
Also, behind the scenes, even though this is a wild card episode, I don't think it will truly be a wild card because I also told our producer Frank that you love to talk about sex. And so I know you want to come on here and talk about some sex secrets. So I was like, it has to be a lot of sex secrets too. So it's like wild card.
Like we keep trying to get away from the sex stuff, but everybody submits sex secrets.
Well, the sex stuff is juicy.
Yeah,
it is juicy. I love sex. I want to talk about it with you guys.
I'm very excited. I feel like, go ahead.
I just want to say I am very excited to be here because I'm a very big fan of the podcast, okay? I listen to Confess Your Mess every week on my way home. So this is an honor, and it's a pleasure to meet you both.
I'm so done.
Okay.
So we know I met Drew in 2016 at the place that we previously worked together. We used to do a show together. Why am I being so shady? Acting like I can't give it any shine. We used to work at Clever together. And we did Rumor Patrol and DHR together.
Wait, you only met in 2016?
Yeah.
That's wild to me.
That is wild.
So much longer.
I know.
I feel like I've known you since birth.
Well, you were there even though you weren't born yet. But
I was there in spirit.
You know, kindred spirits. But here's the thing. So before we get into today's theme, and the wild card of it all. First of all, this is going to be very interesting, Drew, because I'm super curious to know what your secret is, and I feel like I know a lot of Drew's secrets.
She just giggles.
So we're going to find out Drew's secret at the end of the episode. But AJ, let the people know, for people who want to submit their secrets, how they can do that.
Oh, here's how you do it. You head over to confessyourmess.us. You can submit your secrets there. You can be anonymous. You can give us as much information or as little as you choose. You can also leave us a voice note. If you leave us a voice note, you're giving us the permission to play that voice note.
Somebody leave
pod.
a damn voice note. Every single week I say, I want to hear your voice. I want to hear you tell your secret. Like,
also, make sure that you subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. If you're on Apple, we would super appreciate if you would give us 5 stars, write us a review. They mean so much to us. And if you leave a review for us, you might actually become one of our featured messengers on the next pod.
Yeah,
because Emile had a moment of genius recently.
Yeah, on our last episode with Rob Anderson, we decided that we were going to call our listeners messengers.
That's
because one, you get into the mess with us, but then you help spread the message of the podcast. So we're so grateful, and we're going to highlight a messenger right now.
Okay.
This week's messenger is...
Can I read this one? Or you're reading this one right here?
I don't know. Go
Our
ahead.
messenger of the week is AlleyCat429. The headline is interesting and good, 5 stars. AJ and Emile do a great job bringing humor and also empathy to some of these messes. Aww. So far, have had good guest hosts with them. Interesting to hear some of the confessions and realize my mess isn't that bad.
Okay.
Smiley face.
Okay, Drew. Thank you for being patient with us. We are going to get into the secrets. Are you ready for people to confess their mess to us?
I'm so ready. Bring it on.
Okay, here we go. So, why am I laughing already? Anonymous Male Uganda. So,
Okay.
Drew and I and our other best friend Jack, we went to Black Panther to see it together when it came out, and we wore our little.
We did.
We wore our attire, and then we were over here doing the Wakanda sign all throughout. So anyway,
No, I remember that I think you'd all seen it already, correct?
No, that was the first time.
For the first time. It was a moment.
Was it your first time?
Yes.
Wait, I thought
all
we already
our first times.
No, we saw it together.
Did we saw it after that?
Yeah.
Because I remember that night and you guys all going, and I was like, I know my place. I'll just stay here and let the 3 of you go, and then I'll go see it tomorrow.
Period. Because that was the moment for us. And what they say in the movie, the colonizers, right?
Well,
I was just about to say, colonizer couldn't come. AJ knows what's up.
Right.
I know better.
Let's get into this secret from Anonymous Male Uganda. Had sex with this straight couple. Okay, so I like to visualize, Drew. So let's all visualize together. So this male from Uganda, he's having sex with a straight couple. He slept with the guy. Whoa. Okay. He slept with the guy first without this girl's knowledge, and then the girl without the guy knowing, and said, I really enjoyed the guy's dick, and the girl fell for my dick. Both have never known about this. Okay, so first of all, let's back it up.
That's interesting.
So just to make sure we're all on the same page. So are we all thinking, because he said had sex with this straight couple. So is he saying that at some point he had sex with both of them, but then he also had sex individually? Or is he saying that he had sex individually only?
I think it sounds like he's individually having sex with both of them without the other person knowing. That's
what I think too.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's kind of juicy.
Yeah, that is juicy, but also shady. But also, does one shade cancel out the other? Like, because I would feel if I were in his situation and I was sleeping with one of them and not the other, I would feel guilt about it. But then by sleeping with the other, then maybe you feel like absolved of that guilt.
Everybody's getting pleasure and satisfied.
They're both lying to each other, so who cares?
Yeah,
I think they should just tell everybody, and then they can just all have sex together at the same time.
Which I think will be really hot. They could just have a throusome. Clearly, they're all into this. The straight couples, they're both into this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, listen.
This is interesting, though, because do we think... Because traditionally thinking about how sexuality is viewed, at least here in the United States, and I feel like most of the world, the idea of the woman in a straight relationship being with another woman has always been a turn on for men. But the idea of a man being with another man has not traditionally been a turn on for most women.
Oh, so you're afraid that
so is it possible that this woman hears this, she's going to be like, oh, you're gay?
That is a strong possibility.
Do you know what I mean?
Complicated.
Because clearly this guy is at least bi. I'm not going to say what exactly sexuality is, but he clearly is into both men and women.
Yeah.
But
we don't know if she knows that.
We don't know if she knows that. So he says that he's really enjoying the guy's dick. And he said that the girl fell for his dick. So I see the complication, because there is a scenario where if they were to do a threesome situation, since the girl fell for his dick, so let's say he did go to her and say, listen, well then no, because I see what you're saying now, because she could want both of them, and that could be hot for her. Yeah, but then in the middle of the situation, all of a sudden he's like, okay, now I want to take you, and he's like,
okay,
whoa.
Yeah, because so real talk. If you were to cheat on me with another man, I could wrap my brain around that and work through that with you.
Right.
And I'm very open sexually. If you were to cheat on me with another woman, that would be like a tall hill for me to climb. I'd really have to try to wrap my brain around that and accept this brand new reality of who you are that I'd never
you don't have to ever worry about that.
God, I know that. But we're both as gay as the day is long. But that would be a different sort of thing to wrap your brain around, right?
Yeah.
Like, Drew, is that same for straight women? Like, if you were with a man and another woman were involved, I don't know that part of your life, but that might be something you could consider. But what if, and not even, correct me if I'm wrong, but then what if you wanted to bring a man in? Is that like no? Or are you into like, ugh?
So it's complicated because to each their own, obviously. I am someone who can't have my man anybody else because I'm way too territorial, whether it was the woman or the man. To be honest, I think I would feel more so some type of way if he were to F the girl than the guy, because I'm like, we have the same parts. The guy, I'm like, there's no competition there. We are different people. We have different genitals.
That's not about you. That's just a whole different desire that you can't even provide.
Right, exactly. But overall, I say if they don't want to have sex with each other or watch each other, then maybe just divulge like, hey, I have this little piece on the side and it may or may not be the same person that you have on the side. Is that cool? You know?
That's fair. That's fair. I think that's fine. I ultimately, and I'm not trying to give this person advice necessarily, but if you are actually, I'm going to leave it alone.
Yeah, well, I don't think this person owes either of them anything in this scenario because they're both doing the same thing. It's not up to that person to fix it.
Yeah, true.
And also, you don't know. Maybe they do know.
Maybe they do know, and also maybe it's an open relationship.
Maybe that's a kink of theirs. You have no idea.
Anonymous Mel, Uganda, live your life. That's what I'm going to say. Live your life.
Also, I want to go to Uganda. Didn't we get a trip there a few years ago? We thought about going, but we didn't get to. We went to Thailand instead. I think it was Uganda. I think it was Uganda or Ghana. I think it was Uganda, though.
Yeah, I think it was Uganda.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to go.
Let's go to the next secret, which is anonymous. We do not know. It's just anonymous. So just purely anonymous, okay? And remember, this is a wild card episode. So even though our first secret was sex, that doesn't mean that all of them will be sex secrets. I almost forgot for a second there, okay?
I like it.
Anonymous. I picked a... Stupid. It's so stupid. I picked a fish out of my fish tank and ate it while it was still alive. I swallowed it whole.
What?
So let me kick it off and then y'all can chime in because I have lots of questions.
I love these secrets. These are cute.
How the hell are you going to be anonymous with this? Not tell us an age, not tell us when you did it. There's certain secrets where if you submit a secret like this, I need more details. What was the motivation?
Okay, really quickly, hot take. What age do you think this person is and gender?
Well, I think it's probably a guy and probably around 7 or 8.
How about you?
I hope they're around 7 or 8 and not a grown person.
Like immediately, I picture like an 88-year-old old lady, like just being wild. I don't know why, but you could fill in the blanks. Like you don't know if I'm wrong.
Ain't no 88-year-old just being like, let me grab this fish and eat it whole.
Maybe some wild grandma down in like Louisiana or something. You don't know.
Unless they were really high, you know, they saw Nemo in the tank and were like, let me put some Cajun seasoning on them, you know?
This could be a college kid. It could have been a dare.
So they swallowed it
Somebody
whole.
was hella hungry.
A lot of
options.
I just want to know what the fish did to you because clearly the fish and this person anonymous had some beef that they took it out while it was still alive and just swallowed it whole.
Okay.
Were there other fish in the tank? Because if there's other fish in the tank, think about Finding Nemo. So first of all, Drew, can you please give anonymous a name? Pick any random name.
Cassie.
So Cassie was over here. Just imagine there's like 5 fish in this tank, and she picks. Give a name for the fish, please.
Bernard.
Goldie. Oh, Bernard. Yes.
So she looks at Bernard and she's like, I got time today. So Cassie goes over there. She picks Bernard out of the tank. So everybody, okay, sorry, I'm taking this way too far, but Drew, can you please give me 4 other names?
4?
Lucille, Harriet, Henry, and Natalie.
Okay, so
how you gonna remember all that?
Everybody, before I forget. Okay, so she's looking at Bernard, and then Lucille, Harriet, Henry, and Natalie are sitting there like, now wait a minute, what's she gonna do with that fish? And then all of a sudden Bernard is going in Cassie's mouth, and then she's swallowing it, and then Lucille looks over at Henry like the and then Natalie is looking at anyway, let's go to the next secret. I really have some follow-up questions to
I was gonna let you keep going. I was like, what's happened next?
You know me, I'll go forever with this. Okay, so the next one is anonymous female. I often fantasize about a woman joining us when my boyfriend is going down on me.
Oh. Okay. I can get behind that. Or in front of.
All around it.
Here's the thing, when people confess these secrets, because when I read that, I'm like, oh, cool. But then I'm remembering that this is a confession. And so this is obviously something that they're not comfortable telling their partner. And
that makes me sad.
But why?
Yeah, it makes me sad because I don't think there's a thing that you couldn't tell me or I couldn't tell you.
In the dynamic of our relationship,
I know,
but some people are purely.
I know that. That's why it makes me sad because I know how happy we are. And I just think of like, that's a big secret to keep. That's a big thing to keep from a partner. Like, I'm into this thing sexually, and I'm never going to tell you. It bums me out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think it depends on what the gender is of her partner. So, because if her partner is a man,
Partner's a
then,
boyfriend.
Yeah, so it's a
it
boyfriend.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So she's worried about letting her boyfriend know that she's also into women.
Okay.
Well, because here's the thing. She does also, though, she did say that she fantasizes about that. Because somebody can have a fantasy. That doesn't mean they actually want to act on it.
That's true. We talk about a lot of
Mhm.
fantasies that we don't act on, and that actually makes me love him more and makes me more attracted to him. Just knowing that if we wanted to do things, we could, but
Because,
then we choose not to.
I might have a fantasy about Captain America, Chris Evans, but that doesn't mean that if he was sitting right here next to me.
Okay, Killmonger. I have mine too. Calm down.
Lord knows. Ooh, that's my pass. It's my hall pass, y'all. You can have a fantasy, and that doesn't mean you want to act on it. But
Yeah.
I know that within the dynamics of relationships, like, everybody might not be comfortable telling their fantasy. So, Drew,
Right.
let's flip it again. So, if you were in a relationship, and I'm not going to give you your specific fantasy or try to relate to this, but if you're in a relationship and your partner was like, I have certain fantasies, and they opened up about that with you, not saying they wanted to act on it, but they just said like they have a certain fantasy, would you be open to that, or would you be mad at them for even like expressing their fantasy?
I had an exact situation like this. So I was talking to this guy who was into pegging, and he let me know that he was into pegging. Like, he wanted me to put a strap on and do him from behind.
Did I know this?
Maybe I didn't tell you. There's another secret for you.
Oh, we'll talk offline. I need to know who this is. Continue. Go ahead.
I'll tell you who it is after. But I didn't judge him for it. I just let him know that it's not something that I'm interested in doing. So I'm sorry that I'm not going to be able to give you that fantasy. But I didn't judge him for it.
Well, because I feel like if you do pegging and put the strap on, like, you have to have some type of aggression. I don't know your. I mean, I do know your sex life, but like,
you do.
I'm
not turned on by
that's
putting
fair.
on a strap on and effing
Yeah,
that's fair.
So let's get back into these secrets. The next one is anonymous female. Okay. I low-key love being a sub, but I'm stuck in a long-term relationship that is so vanilla. So a sub, submissive. So this is somebody who wants to be dominated. A sub. There's different categories of subs, but some of them like to be really dominated. Some of them like to be handcuffed and 50 Shades of Grey type stuff. There's different levels.
Is this you?
No, it's not me.
Did you submit this one?
No, I did not submit this. However, this actually kind of makes me sad because, again, this feels like if they're confessing this, they're not actually being fulfilled in their relationship.
Wait, where is it? Can I read it? I need to read this one, I think. I need to actually see it with my eyeballs. I low-key love being a sub, but I'm also stuck in a long-term relationship that is so vanilla. Okay, so female, but she could be sub to another female or to a man, correct?
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know that part.
Yeah.
But she wants to have a dominant, aggressive partner or somebody who... We all have that friend that's an introvert that we like love and adore, and then after a few years, it really kind of gets annoying that they're always like super, 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 super passive. We've had that friend at some point in our lives, and we're like,
speak up for you, AJ.
Yeah, find a voice, and then they find the voice, and that first year or so when they find the voice is the hardest year of the friendship because that entire year you're like, oh my god, you're so obnoxious, you're like way feeling yourself too much. It's way too much. You got to pull it back, and then hopefully,
damn AJ, who are you talking about?
First of all, let's pause it because he's saying friend.
No,
but when we first met, I was an introvert, and then I did find my voice in the later years. So you talking about a friend? You talking about me? Go ahead and speak your truth. Speak your truth.
But eventually, if the friendship or relationship lasts,
I was obnoxious.
They settle into. I'm not talking about you actually, but again, take that to your therapist.
Wow.
And so I think that.
Wow.
I think that she wants that side to come out. She wants to be like, yeah, I'm a bad girl, and like be in charge for a little bit. And then probably after that, at some point, she'll figure out what really actually turns her on.
Well, it's a long term. Go ahead, Drew. What do you think about this?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily. Wow, words. I don't think it's necessarily sad that she's submitting it as a secret and not just telling her partner. Maybe she just hasn't mustered up enough courage to let her partner know, you know?
Yeah, but I guess when it's a long-term relationship, it makes me sad because after a certain amount of time, there should be some level of trust, or I feel like you can tell
I
them,
agree.
and it's I think, not saying that I understand with relationships, like sex isn't everything, and like the dynamics of your relationship isn't only revolve around sex. However, and also, let's take sex out of it. You can be submissive, dominant, have those dynamics in your relationship outside of sex too. Like, I'm just assuming it's a sexual thing, but she just might like to be dominated in other ways too. Take a seat. I don't know her.
Well,
life,
that's very true, because I know in our relationship, like in the bedroom, I tend to be more dominant, and you like that, and you're into it. But in our like everyday life, I feel
let
like
people know my business.
Listen, sometimes you be taking charge on our anniversary and your birthday,
Yeah,
twice a year.
Let them
what
know
you want.
Let them know I take
That's right,
charge
and
too.
boy, do you!
I take
Boy,
charge
do you.
too.
I like to be submissive.
Yeah, you do. See, okay, I get that, because you and I feel like we have very similar personalities. When Drew and I first met, we kind of butted heads a little bit because we're very type A. We're very like bold. We're very like assertive in our and I think sometimes that's hard for those types of people, especially when the relationship wasn't Drew and I's. It was you and Drew, and me and you. You were the common denominator. So I think there was a bit of a power dynamic in those early years a little bit. And I think that
I'm a hot commodity.
You are. No, you are. But also, I think that makes sense to me, Drew, that you say that you're submissive, that you like to be more submissive, because while I'm more dominant in the bedroom and also in my real life, my issue was sometimes I want him to be dominant in the bedroom. Sometimes I want him to be dominant in our day-to-day life and just make choices so I don't have to make every single choice. Because that gets to be a lot, because you're like me, you're a hustler. We all are. But you and I, like, in that same way, we're hustlers. We're always on. We're always like fighting for that next thing that we want. And sometimes it's nice to be like, I don't want to think about anything. Right. I want you to tell me what the F you're going to do.
AJ, stop talking. Let me talk.
Oh, damn.
I can't even do that. Oh my gosh, I cannot even do that seriously. I'm so hot right now. Are you hot, or are you like hot because it's like warm?
It's hella warm in here.
I don't know. You're turning kind of red. Wait a minute. Did that work? I'll deep my voice for a little bit. Okay.
So
are you ready for the next one?
Yes.
Anonymous male. So I took a shower after my father-in-law. I noticed there was some cum near the drain, which hadn't washed away. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh wow!
Wait! That's not the end. That's not the end.
Oh no!
They said I used it as lube and blew a huge load. Y'all. I don't get shocked a lot on this because I've seen some major, wild, juicy secrets. And this one has me shook.
This is a moment.
This one has me shook.
I'm processing right now.
I am not speechless about many things. And this one, like,
first of all,
who does that?
The problem for me is, for me personally, sorry, I'm getting a little nauseous.
Do you need water?
Here, nasty.
The problem for me with this in particular, I never really need water. It's a little gross. I'm just imagining. Oh, I've never had this reaction before.
Are you okay?
And y'all, I didn't normally, Drew, I knew you were coming on, and y'all, before this, I was in a mood, and I knew Drew would get it out of me because she's my best friend. So I didn't do it edible. I had no tequila before this, which I'm glad I didn't because I need to be sober to read that. And I think just the fact that you scoop that up off the ground, like showers. I know we clean showers.
Like Loki, yeah. I'm going to say the most disgusting part of it is scooping it up off the drain or the semen aspect of it doesn't actually bother me that much. We've all done that. In like same-sex relationships, we've done that.
Oh, use each
other's. Yes, that's a thing, right?
That's not,
and that's not disgusting to me. The fact that it's the father-in-law is kinky, but not disgusting to me. If that's your thing, if you're into it, I get it, right? Like maybe you have a really, really hot father-in-law. Got it? But that stuff, I can even live with that part of it. It's the scooping it up off the dirty ass shower floor that's where I draw the line.
And then they blew a big load. Go ahead.
My question is, how did the father-in-law not know that his jizz was on the bottom of the shower and didn't clean it up afterwards?
That's where my mind goes. That
let's
tells
talk
me
about this.
I
Let's
wonder
talk
if
about
that's
this.
on purpose.
Let's talk about this because we talk about everything on this podcast, and sometimes it gets graphic. So if you do happen to do some things in the shower with your jizz, what you'll see is...
Can we not say that word? I hate that word.
Okay, do I have to say cum?
Yeah, no, you're...
Semen.
Semen, yeah.
Okay, semen.
Let's be adults here.
If you have the semen, like let's say that you were to do something in your hand and you have the semen in your hand and then you try to wash it off, what you'll find is...
The water situation is terrible.
It doesn't really... First of all, it doesn't really mix, and then it doesn't wash off very well. And then... if it's hot water, it creates this weird consistency that if you do drop it on the ground, or let's say the father did it on the ground, the father-in-law on the shower floor, it's not like body wash or something else where if you put water on it, it just goes down smoothly. It could have been he got a lot of it off, but if he didn't look down and make sure it was all gone, you have to make sure that it's all gone or wipe it up.
Especially if you're in a public place, I've done this in a shower at a gym before.
Oh, spill your tea.
Oh, I know you have to. Don't lie.
Wow.
But low key, you have a really good workout. There's really hot guys there. You're your testosterone's flowing. You do it in the shower, but then you make sure that you clean up completely after yourself because that's weird, right?
Because somebody could get into the shower after you and use your jizz.
Well, or us a couple weeks. Semen. Don't say that word.
I just corrected myself. I said semen.
Even nut is better than
juices.
Juices.
Right.
Juices.
Yes, your fluids.
Your juicy nut.
But even a couple weeks ago, you and I we had a moment in a shower in Mexico, right?
With the juicy nut.
Yeah, we did. And he's giving me advice on how to best clean up. I'm not a 41-year-old man who's done this.
Well, you didn't know.
But even then, we were like, oh, God, we got to get rid of this because there's a housekeeper that's going to come at some point. And we don't want her to have to deal with that.
They've seen some things. And Frank's probably this is the longest episode, but also this is fun. Last secret before we get to Drew's secret. I know.
She's getting nervous.
One time, my boyfriend was fingering me. I queefed so hard.
Oh, so it's a female.
Yeah, not a female. Okay. I queefed so hard, he jumped off the bed out of fear.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
Well, since we're talking, and you don't have to answer this, have you ever queefed before?
I thought you were going to ask me if I've ever been fingered, and I was like, oh my God, is the sky blue? Okay, so I'm not a big queefer. I've queefed a couple times, not from being fingered. I've queefed just from, riding on top. I hope my dad's not listening to this, but just from riding on top because the air gets pushed in there. But for it to queef so loud that he got scared that's a talent on her part.
It's time to get to Drew Dorsey's secret. She's brought something real juicy. She's already revealed a couple that we didn't see coming. So I can't even imagine what this is going to be. But are you ready for this, Emile?
Do I need to grab my water?
You might need to.
Let me just grab it just in case.
Okay.
Yes, I'm ready.
It's now
Emile,
time.
you might know.
Oh.
Drew, we're doing our whole intro
thing.
Oh,
damn, sorry. Go ahead, AJ.
That was a whole thing. We had a whole thing. We're doing a thing.
Go ahead.
Hey, Emile.
Hey, Drew. AJ.
Oh, God. Okay, Drew, ready? Damn. Time for you to confess your mess.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I heard the episode when y'all were like, okay, we're going to say it together. That was cute. Okay, so I have so many secrets, so it was really hard to narrow it down.
Really?
And yeah, because my life seems like a simulation that apparently God likes to play Sims with my life. And so a lot of crazy stuff happens to me. So it's really hard for me to choose. But
we like Sims, by the way. Go ahead.
Mine is sex related. And I don't know how juicy it is, but here it goes. So at the beginning of this year, I was dating this guy. And whenever we saw each other, we got tested because we were both super paranoid about COVID. So we always would get tested before we would hook up with each other.
Oh, damn.
This
That's
before. I know, which is kind of romantic. This was before vaccines and stuff. So there was one time where our schedules just didn't work out where we could get tested beforehand. And he was like, okay, I have a proposition. And I was like, what do you want to do? He was like, how do you feel about having mask sex? And I was like, what do you mean? Huh? And he was like, what if we wear masks while we have sex? And I was like, I don't think I'm into it. So we didn't do it. And then 2 weeks later, this was after we had been tested, but we both were just like, why not? So we had sex while wearing masks, which of course is completely inefficient because you're still going to be all up in each other's business, right?
Right.
But so we kept on the mask while we had sex, and he would only remove it to do certain things, to certain things.
That's such a COVID confession.
Right?
Wait, okay, so I have so many follow-up questions. Were they like the little blue ones? Were they N95? Were they the cute, sexy
Was it
black
clear?
ones?
Was it black?
Were
Yeah,
they
what was
studded?
it?
Like what were these?
I was wearing the blue ones, like the ones that nurses wear, but he had two on. He had like a cloth one on and a KN95.
Oh,
what if he put on like a Joker mask? Like, some people have printed stuff on there.
Yeah.
Wait, Drew, do you have the studded mask still?
I do, but it's in my car.
Oh no! I was gonna say, because it'll be fun if you wore that big ass studded mask.
Right.
This is really interesting because I'm actually low-key very proud of you because you wanted to get it in, and I get that. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been getting it in the entire pandemic, no problems, right? But we also live together and we're fiancés. But for single people during a pandemic, for people who are dating who don't live together, that's actually really responsible.
Yes.
I also love that he wore two.
Right. And I know how paranoid you were at the beginning of this thing. Like you were like, no, we didn't see you for a year. Like, don't come near me. Yeah.
But the dick must have been good.
The dick was very good. I will give him that. But y'all don't understand how hard dating is in a pandemic when you are single. It's hell. It's hell. It sucks.
So we've talked to some guests, and you've probably already heard it, but because I think Sarah and Cornelia brought it up. Did you know there is an app called Coffee Meets Bagel?
I've heard of it. I've never used it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, we had never heard of that.
I still don't understand the title. Why does coffee meet the bagel?
I guess you
like going on a coffee date. I think that's the point.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I hear the bagel and I'm thinking that's like a receptive, like a thing, and like a this, but it has nothing to do with that.
It's for people who pour hot coffee into a hole.
Yeah, I don't. That's where my mind went.
Like burn it off.
I don't think that was the motive behind the name, but I like that. I do.
Listen, I've only ever been on Grindr my entire life, so I have no idea.
Your entire life?
Yeah, I've never been on anything else.
No, I'm saying your entire life you've been on Grindr?
Yeah, I'm on it right now.
Oh, wow.
I'm on it constantly. Oh, is that a ding I just heard?
I wouldn't even know what the Grindr sounds like.
I've never been on Grindr.
Well,
I've only used two.
Yeah, well, we have, we use I wouldn't know what the sound is either, but we actually use it at my radio show. I host an LGBTQ radio show, and it's one of our sound effects. So we use the Grindr sound a lot, actually. He and I, low-key, I have Grindr on my phone, but I don't have it on my phone. We maybe like once a year, we'll like be like curious to be like, who's around? And we'll go look on there, and then we'll see like friend.
Let's confess something really fast. So there, I was when I was working at the restaurant I used to work at. There was a girl that I worked with who was polyamorous, and she was telling us about all these apps. And I can't remember what the app was, but it was basically an app for couples who want to find a third or find other couples, right? Yeah. And so we were looking just for fun at the time. We were just like, oh, let's just look because this is funny. So we get on this app.
Wait, what was the app?
I don't remember the name.
Did you do the app?
Yeah.
I don't think I had it.
Yeah, we were sitting there.
Got it.
And we were laying next to each other, and I was like, okay, let's create a fake. We created two fake names, put a fake picture, because we're like, we're not going to put our stuff on there.
No.
But then you have to connect it to your Facebook, I think, in order to like make sure that you're real. It's like, ugh. So I connected really fast. And then you can choose, though, to hide like from your Facebook friends from seeing it. Anyway, so we're scrolling through, and then we actually saw a couple that we know. We went to their wedding, and we were like, oh, my. But then, no, they weren't hot.
We're not into them.
Yeah, we weren't into it. But also, it was like weird seeing it, and we're like, okay, we're good. And then we like delete the app.
Yeah, but we low-key were like a little bit judgy for a minute and kind of laughed about it. Like, we were also on this site too.
But we were on there with fake names. It was like Dave and Josh or something.
I think also low-key, we get onto Grindr once a year, and we go through, we see who's in the area, and then we're like, okay, he maybe, or maybe him. But by and large, we're like, no, we're not really in any of this. Yeah, okay, you're still my best choice, so you're my best bet. So we'll just stick with what we've got. Try it again in 2022.
You know, have all this.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I take charge.
Drew, we love you.
We do. Oh,
also, can people still get your merch?
They can still get my merch.
Where?
You just have to go through my Instagram or my YouTube channel. There is a link to both. It's on Bonfire.
Yeah, go follow Drew Dorsey everywhere.
But also, Drew. You're a loyal messenger. So you know that every episode we like to ask, what was your takeaway of the day?
I just love hanging out with you guys, and it was so nice getting to jump on this podcast because I'm truly a fan. I'm truly a fan. I think you guys are great, and I think everybody should listen and subscribe. And I'm very happy for you and your nuptials, and it's just all love. I love you guys.
Confess Your Mess.
Confess Your Mess is a Straw Hut Media podcast produced by Ryan Tillotson and Frank Driscoll. Thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to subscribe and share.
And if you have a secret and want to share, go to confessyourmess.us to submit. Your secret could end up in the show.
Ooh.